You are listening to Season 2 of The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, the short and often daily podcast in which I chronicle my life and attempt to be a writer by writing daily. Sometimes. Hello, today is Thursday the 17th of July 2025 and you are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. And yep, at 1 o'clock today, I was delivered, thanks to UPS, I believe it was, my hardback kind of proof copy of Empress of the Trees. And I'm not going to lie, I've basically been reading it ever since. It is a big bugger of a book. So even if I carry on at the pace that I've been reading it today, it's going to take me a few pages to read. But the first thing I just want to say is I'm thrilled with it. You'll probably all hate it, those of you who get to read it, but so far, I've read the first 150 pages. It is long. There's about 650. But the characters are working. The whole sort of early setup, the mystery about my main character and who she is, I feel it works quite well. I like the characters. I like the way they speak to each other. They feel like real people. I have made some tiny adjustments. Some of them are around continuity with dates. I think I kind of got confused as to which year I was setting the majority of the action in. So I've had to kind of mentally go back and make sure that it's all consistent, or meant in my head work backwards, thinking, well, so basically I now decide that Ronnie, my main character, was born in the year 2000. Obviously we have her 16th birthday in 2016. She takes her GCSEs in 2017 when she's 16, and she goes to university in 2019 when she's 18, and then obviously most of the story is set around 2019 and 2020. Only the pandemic doesn't happen in this version of the world. Oh, far worse stuff happens. Although it's quite interesting because I have worked. I kind of realised how much I've worked real events into it. So it's clear that when this story is set, Donald Trump is the president of the United States because he's trying to get out of and this is all happening at the time. He's trying to get out of the Paris Climate Agreement and stuff like that, which one of my characters absolutely supports. My bad guy Carl Tucker, and that was the other thing that I really enjoyed. We had I did one of my writing groups. When was it? Couple of weeks ago, went to a writing group and they asked us to describe characters, and I couldn't think of a new character to describe, so I just thought, well, I'll just describe Carl Tucker. And the words I wrote were, there was something Neanderthal about Carl's look, as though someone had scrubbed a gorilla then forced it into a cheap suit. The shirt was too baggy and the tie done up with a knot that might have been copied from an anarchic sixth former. The trousers ended several inches above his socks and his eyebrows met in the middle. In his younger years he would have shaved the middle bit away, but once he realised it unnerved people, he left it as it was. I love that. And actually, so we had to all read out our little things we'd written within the group. And I said, it's an existing character, actually, I've just re-described him. And one of the people there said, what happens to him? I said, he becomes Prime Minister. What I should have said was, he becomes Prime Minister 2 days before the world ends. So that description of Carl is actually much better, much better than the one that was in the book. So that's one of the edits I've made today. I've just put that description in there. Most of the rest of them are, so I would fairly consistently refer to any of the entities that live within the trees, which are genderless. So I have consistently referred to them as they or them in the later parts of the book, stuff I've written recently. But I hadn't noticed until I was reading this that in the early bits I was referring to Idrisil as she. So there's little changes like that. But most of it, I'm so pleased with it. It's printed by a company called Lulu. I had a choice of doing it with Lulu.com or KDP, which is the self-publishing arm of Amazon. Kindle Direct Publishing is what KDP stands for. And I really struggled to format it in KDP, and every time I thought I was done, it'd come back with another error in the formatting that need to be corrected. Whereas when I loaded the same file into Lulu, it simply said, we think you should do this. If you like that, if you're happy to do that with the formatting, click yes, and don't forget to just preview it to make sure it looks like you expect it on the page. And I did, and it did, and it was great. However, I think, so for a start, I mean, my target of getting it finished by the end of this month is looking exceedingly likely. In fact, I think I may get it done by the end of this week. I'm enjoying it so much. I'm going to a local writing group meeting tomorrow. I'm meeting TG Campbell there, and maybe some other members of the local writing group. I don't know, but basically, we're going to try and start doing these meetings a little bit more often, but try and do, as well as a catch up, a bit of writing. I'll talk about it tomorrow, actually, how I intend to do it. It's something I nicked from another group that I attended years ago in Toronto. But yeah, so I've done last 2 days I've done loads of exercise. Today, I basically had to wait in because this package could have arrived any time between 9:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m. and I was absolutely determined not to miss it, and I didn't. I'm enjoying reading through it. The thing is, every time I read something new I've written, I think, oh, this is better than the last thing. So I don't know whether that's just your reaction when you read something. Because the thing is, because there's so much of it, you kind of forget a lot of the detail. And then when you reread it, you go, oh yeah, I really had thought this through. Or at least reading it at the moment, it feels like I've thought it through. By the time I get to the end, I may not feel that. Anyway, so I'm really pleased with how today's gone. Hopefully more of the same tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye-bye. You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer. For more information about what I'm writing, go to linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W, where you can find details of my website and social media. I may see you there.